The other day, I was listening to someone tell me about their workout. Not the most exciting topic to listen to, and I will confess my mind started to drift. Drifting to the thought of, we spend so much time strengthening our bodies with weights, cardio, and other types of exercise. But do we spend any time strengthening our minds? And if we do, how do we strengthen our minds? Or more specifically, how do we strengthen our abilities to deal with life's emotional and mental challenges? Welcome to Limitless Thoughts, a podcast from Limitless Life Counseling where we explore questions, thoughts, ideas, and emotions. If you've missed our other episodes, you can check them out wherever you find your favorite podcasts. I would love you to become a follower and share this podcast with others. Another way you can help us provide educational podcasts is to become a patron. If this option speaks to your heart, you can find more information at patron.podbean.com/limitlesslifecounseling. This link is also available in our episode description, because together we can bring more light to the world. Have you ever heard someone referred to as mentally tough? We seem to use this phrase to describe athletes or people who compete in some type of activity, or even someone who has a job we imagine uses a great deal of brain power. In describing someone as mentally tough, we seem to be implying this person has some type of superpower, giving them the ability to overcome challenges or adapt and adjust to adverse conditions. Is mental toughness really a superpower? A skill or ability that only world-class athletes or really smart people have? Or do you and I also have mental toughness? The short answer is yes, you and I are mentally tough. In fact, you and I are resilient. Have you ever heard that word? Resilient? Or resilience? Resilience is mental toughness. The dictionary defines it as the ability to recover or adjust quickly from difficulties. The ability to adapt in the experiences of adversity, trauma, and significant stress. Maybe you're thinking right now, I must have a really weak resilience because I don't seem to be very good at recovering and adjusting to adversity or trauma or stress. Is resilience like a muscle that we can strengthen and become more proficient at? Or are we just born with a certain amount of resilience that hopefully we don't run out of before we're 90 years old? If resilience is like a muscle, how do we strengthen our mental toughness or get better at being mentally tough? Is there a resilience workout program? A resilience gym membership we need to add to our monthly budget? Special resilience shoes we need to buy? Although I am always happy for an excuse to buy a new pair of shoes, stronger resilience doesn't require any special equipment or knowledge, but it does require an engagement with life. And these three abilities: perspective, reflection on meaning, and connection. Let's explore each of these abilities as a way to start building our resilience muscle, starting with perspective. Perspective is the interpretation we have of a circumstance or experience. It's the story we tell about a circumstance and experience. We might share similar perspectives with others, or we might have a different perspective than someone else. Our perspective, our story of our circumstances, our experiences, influences, behaviors and choices and belief in ourselves. It influences our belief in having the ability to navigate or survive the circumstances and experiences. Here's a really basic example of perspective. Let's say there's one piece of cake left in the kitchen. You have planned on eating this piece of cake. But when you walk into the kitchen, you find an empty plate with a few crumbs, and your partner, a few steps away, smiling, cake crumbs on their shirt. From your perspective, this might be a complete and utter tragedy. No cake. Cake that you had been looking forward to all day. And not having this piece of cake means you are willing to start World War III. However, from your partner's perspective, it might be the cake was delicious, and they feel world peace has been achieved. There might even be a third perspective. A perspective from those of you listening to this podcast thinking, cake? Are you kidding me? Who cares about cake? World peace is achieved with chili cheese fries. Our perspective influences our choices and behaviors in navigating through circumstances or experiences. If our perspective or story is influenced by black and white thinking, or an all or nothing thinking, or a catastrophic thinking, we might make choices or act on behaviors that create further challenges for us in navigating the circumstances or experiences. Our perspective can even make us feel stuck or believing there are no options in our circumstances or experiences. In contrast, exercising our resilience or building mental toughness requires us to reflect on a circumstance or experience with a degree of objectivity. A degree of objectivity that acknowledges what we can change and cannot change, as well as helps us decide how we might respond in a way that will help us learn and grow from the circumstance or experience. Resilience, mental toughness, requires perspective that pushes us to live our circumstances, live our experiences. It does not mean we have to believe unicorns and rainbows are part of the challenge. It is believing we can and will navigate whatever the challenge is. Perspective strengthens resilience, strengthens mental toughness, and is closely related to the next ability, reflecting on meaning. Meaning is the ability to reflect on how a difficult circumstance or experience contributes to your goals, builds your self-worth, and strengthens your relationships. It's the ability to view yourself as a strong person able to navigate difficult things. When we view ourselves as a strong person, when we view ourselves as having self-worth, we view challenging circumstances and experiences not as barriers to our goals, not as destroyers to our worth or relationships, but rather we view adversity, trauma, stress as a part of our life journey. It's not the plot of your life story, it's not the focus of your life. Instead, challenging circumstances, challenging experiences are just a chapter, just a paragraph, just a sentence in your life story. To reflect on meaning builds our resilience muscle, builds our mental toughness. By seeing ourselves as the main character in our own life story that has goals, self-worth, and relationships that cannot be destroyed by adversity, trauma, or stress. Relationships, the third ability in strengthening resilience, strengthening mental toughness. Relationships are connections you have with others. Relationships are connecting to those people who laugh with you, those people who cry with you, those people who know you inside and out. Relationships are also those experiences in connecting with another person in human kindness and decency. A sense of connecting when the stranger helps you pick up the groceries you dropped. A sense of connecting when a person offers you a smile as they pass on the hiking trail. A sense of connecting when the neighbors wave hello as you move in. Relationships are connection. And connection builds resilience. Builds resilience or mental toughness because when we feel connected, when we are recognized even by a stranger, we are given the gift of hope. Hope because we feel seen. We feel seen even if life is a challenge. Challenging circumstances and experiences can make us hold the perspective that we are alone, can make us hold the perspective that there is no hope. But the beauty of connection is when we struggle to hold hope, others can hold the hope for us. Others can hold the hope for us until we can hold it ourselves. Connecting with others, having a relationship with others, strengthens resilience, strengthens mental toughness. Someone once offered this powerful piece of wisdom to me, that we all have different challenges in our life, but we can all find something to grasp onto in navigating our challenges. Maybe you've just experienced a divorce. Maybe you've lost your job. Maybe you are struggling to parent. Maybe you are parenting your parents. Maybe you've just been given a diagnosis. Maybe you feel alone. Maybe life just keeps piling on stress upon stress upon stress. We all have different challenges. But in these challenges, no matter how difficult they might feel, we all have something to grasp onto. We all have something to help us stay afloat. Maybe you have a great support system. Maybe you have money and resources. Maybe you have a job. Maybe you have time. Maybe you have a partner. Maybe you have faith. And maybe you feel you have none of these. But you do have one thing to grasp onto. You have resilience. You have mental toughness. Adversity, trauma, stress, those are all a lot like being adrift in a huge ocean. An ocean in which the waters of adversity, trauma, and stress seem to surround you with no end, no relief in sight. But keeping you afloat is that piece of shipwreckage. Keeping you afloat is perspective. Keeping you afloat is meaning. And headed toward you is a boat of people who throw out a life preserver of connection tethered by hope. Resilience is reaching out and grasping that hope, grasping that life preserver, and holding on with the strength of knowing this challenge, this adversity, this trauma, this stress is not your story. It's knowing, it's believing your story is still being written. In the ocean of life, We all get tossed by the waves of adversity, trauma, and stress. Life is difficult, but we all have resilience. You have resilience. You have mental toughness. You have worth. You have hope. This world needs you. Believe in yourself. Believe in your worth. Reach out and connect with others. Believe in hope. When you think you can't possibly survive the next week, believe. Believe this is just a chapter, just a paragraph, just a sentence in your life's story. Because this world needs you. You've got this. Till next time, thanks for listening.